Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Talking Female Health with Amy and Lisa. I'm Amy, and I'm here with my beautiful friend Lisa. And we are really excited about today's episode, where we're going to be talking about something that we're both very passionate about, and that is the fact that when it comes to healing, and addressing female health, there is no quick fix. And that may not be what you want to hear, but it is what you need to hear. It's almost what I would call one of my vagina truth bombs that, you know, there is no quick fix. And we live in a world where we're promised lots and lots of quick fixes. But in today's episode, we're going to have a conversation about this and hopefully get you to understand how, although there isn't a quick fix, there is so much that can be done to get you to a place of health and well-being that you can sustain. And that's the big piece for both mine and Lisa's work. We want our clients to be able to sustain and improve on the results that they are getting in the time that they're with us. Okay, so Lisa, what are your thoughts around quick fixes versus the truth?
And I want to just say one thing, not to discourage people. Like, just because we say it's not a quick fix doesn't mean it can't go relatively quickly. And that's I think that's the very interesting thing. Like, once we understand that it's not done with a pill. That's what we're saying. It's
Yes,
not you take
I
a
was
pill
just
and
going to
then
say
it's
we
done.
should
It's
maybe
not,
yeah.
have a surgery and then it's gone.
Yeah.
No, because even when you have, say, endometriosis and you get a hysterectomy, it doesn't mean all your problems are gone, because there is an underlying reason for the endometriosis to appear in the first place. And until you address that reason, that underlying cause, chances are something else will come up in your body, because your body is here to trying to tell you something.
Yes.
And when you start listening to it, then the healing can actually go quite quickly. And that's what I've witnessed over and over again. I don't know about you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think now we've defined what we mean by the quick fix of it being the surgery or the pill. I think for me personally, in my healing journey, and very much so for my clients as well, is understanding that your body is on your side. And when you're getting all of these symptoms, whatever they may be, however uncomfortable or embarrassing or painful, however they're presenting themselves, they are messages from your body that something is not right. And we know that the body is an ecosystem and everything's interconnected and working together. And this is why there's no quick fix, because we need to include the whole body in not just the body, the emotions, the environment. Like there's so much that needs to be included. But once you understand the intelligence of the body, you can see how the quick fix approach of just taking the tablet or, stepping into surgeries isn't honoring the needs of the body and listening to her.
Sorry, I'm also thinking about like, I've got a friend who deals with incontinence after childbirth. And she asked because she's tried everything, and she asked if I knew I could maybe have a session with her or something. And I was like, we can certainly have a session. I just know that this isn't done in one single session.
Yes.
because the pelvic floor is not one thing. It consists of like 16 different muscles. And especially incontinence has a lot to do with how you use your body over the day and how you hold your body, the body position and alignment throughout the day. So it's not just doing some exercises for your pelvic floor, but it includes these other things as well. And then your posture is usually influenced by the thoughts you're thinking, because they create some emotions. So, and there's this whole cascade of things, and that's why we say this is an ecosystem, and there are different parts that we need to address. In order for you to get the healing that you wish for. And also, healing to me is a cyclical process, and it's not like a one and done thing. There may be different layers, similar to grief when you've lost a loved one, a pet or a person. Usually, it lasts a while, and it's cyclical. There are phases where it gets better and easier, and then there are times again where you're reminded of something and the whole grief comes back up again. But I see it more as a spiral. It's not like our brains try to tell us, oh, you're back there now, you haven't made any progress at all, which isn't true, because you may be at a very similar place, but you've got different life experience behind you. You've got a different set of thoughts with you. There is a difference as compared to where you were back then. It's like a spiral to me. We always come back around, but we're always spiraling a level deeper. And so that is very, I think, important to point out that it's okay that things take time. And it's okay that after a period where everything felt nice and comfy again, there can be another layer that needs to be uncovered.
Yeah. And we're not all healthy all of the time. And we are not always dealt situations in our lives that are needing the same response. Like you've just touched on, you can do all of the work on yourself and get yourself to a place where everything is good, and then something tragic can happen, and your body and your mind and your heart and your soul will respond to that. And that could look like you stepping backwards and becoming, regressing in some way, when, as you've just really beautifully explained, that's not the case. You're meeting life, because life is a flow, it has its ups and its downs and its twists and its turns. And I like to think of it as having your toolkit and your resources to meet those challenges, and I've been reflecting a lot on the last year and all the challenges that have come my way, and some of them have been really, really tough, but I'm really proud of myself as to how I've navigated them, because I feel that I'm so much better resourced. That doesn't mean that I haven't had the dips, and I haven't had the times where I've been carrying a lot of emotional weight and feeling that I need time on my own, and kind of just needing to process everything that's happening. But I know that if what's happened to me over the last year had happened to me 5-6 years ago, it would have been a completely different response that I would have had, and I would have ended up in an even worse, like even feeling even more weighed down, because I didn't have the toolkit and the resources that I needed. And that toolkit and those resources are so many things. And all of the things that we've talked about on this podcast, like having the right community, having the right peer group around you to hold you when you need it, eating the right foods, treating my body in the right way, listening to my body, knowing how to support my nervous system, all of these things. So there's the piece where we don't have this quick fix for whatever the immediate concern is, but also the reality check that once you've done that work to overcome the initial challenge, life's still going to throw things at you. And the really nice thing I really like about the work that both myself and Lisa do, as I said in the introduction, is that we are helping you find your resources and your toolkit to continue down the adventure of life and have those pieces with you as you go on. And the big piece here that I think is really important is finding the right people to help you and having that trust and that faith in those who are supporting you on and who you are seeking support from. Because if you don't have that, it's so much harder. And I've been there in the past. I've been to see people in the past, not got results, and at the time not realized why that is. Just thought, oh, it's me. It's because I'm ill. It's because I've got this incurable condition that I can't do anything about. And now,
and by the way, that's a real tricky thing our brains do, is that whenever something is going great, it ascribes the reason to outside circumstances or other people. And whenever something's not working in the way or that's working in a way that we judge to be negative, then it's us. We must be wrong. It must be something we didn't do right.
Yeah, completely. And carrying the weight of it all.
Yeah.
All of the things that are going wrong, feeling like it's our responsibility, our weight to carry. It's all with us. That becomes a lot. And if you're already in a space where you're struggling with your health, it's a weight that nobody needs at the best of times. But if you're in that space of needing help and support, it's a really horrible thing to experience. So trusting the people that you're working with. And for me, a part of that realization was them telling me things that I necessarily didn't want to hear. Like with love, like challenging my views, my perception, my behavior on things, and asking me to change habits that had been with me for decades. And again, it's that space where if you feel that you come to the realization that you've got to change quite a bit of what you're doing, quite a lot of what you're doing to get to where you want to go, it can be really hard work because you've had these habits, you've had this lifestyle, you've built it up over decades, and to try and rearrange it and reassess it can be really, really difficult.
Yeah, I want to jump in here and just say that, because that's something I've been pondering myself for my own situation with my OCD and different other struggles that I have, is is it really hard work to change that? Or do our brains, is that just an ingrained belief that it's going to be hard work? Because yes, it will take effort. Because the thing is this, there have been neurological pathways created over decades often that have ingrained this habit or whatever it is, or this thought. And of course, it will take effort to create new pathways, new neural pathways. And also, it doesn't have to be hard work. It doesn't have to be the hard work that society wants us to believe changing ourselves is. What if it could be useful?
Yeah, and just to be supported and guided through that as well. And, you know, as you were talking about earlier about your friend reaching out about potentially having one session, and how we know that one session, it's going to be useful. She's going to learn things, she's going to take things away from it and get value from it. But in terms of getting the long-term results, sustainable results, the power and the magic of the container comes into play. And this is why we offer our work in the way that we do, because we want to be there cheerleading, loving, supporting, guiding for the whole journey, not just for the sessions that we have booked in every week, fortnight, whatever the arrangement is. Because we know that when we're looking at changing habits and creating new realities for ourselves, you need that help. You need that guidance. And the big piece as well is it's okay to get it wrong. Like, to step into to make a change, to start doing things differently. No one expects it to go flawlessly without any hiccups or wobbles, I think is the best word, because we've been there and we know the reality of it, which is why we want to be there to support you and guide you in between the sessions as well as within them.
One thing about the you need guidance. I like to say you don't need me, or you don't need a coach or a specialist or whatever. You could probably very well get there on your own. It just might require lots more time and effort to understand the ecosystem and what to look out for. And that's where it can go actually faster with our support.
Yeah.
And both Amy and I are much centered on what's working for you and not what we think you should or should not be doing. As Amy rightly shared earlier, is like, we support you in finding your toolkit, not us putting any kind of toolkit upon you.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just like, we are all humans, we are all on this journey together, and we need each other to mirror our light back to us, to sustain us through the dark times when we lose hope. We need other beings, because then the whole journey can become so much more joyful.
Absolutely.
Joy being Amy's word of the year. If you haven't checked out our podcast from 2 weeks ago, it was all about like goal setting versus intention setting. And I think that ties actually neatly in with the topic of quick fix solutions, is that a goal or a quick fix solution is something like you've got an end point and now you want to get there as quickly as possible. Whereas when you set an intention of bringing these things into your life, for example, more joy, more health, whatever it is, it gives you a different time frame, because it almost leaves this time pressure on the side, because there is no pressure, because you can at any moment have a think about what would feel joyful right now, what would feel healthy right now, what would be more simple right now. And assessing that every day, every time along the journey with every decision.
Yeah.
And then this journey may seem long, but it is more joyful or along the way. It's not like you will only reach the health at the end of this whole process and whole journey, but there will be many, many moments in between where you already experience that, which you're after.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think,
Like the thing about the quick fixes that, you know, I'm gonna completely confess that I have sought and begged for them in the past. Like I'm not judging anybody here with, like, neither of us are. This is not what this is about. But the piece about the quick fixing is it takes your agency away from you.
Mm.
And the joy of that word again, stepping into the commitment to go the distance, is that you are going to discover so much about yourself, about what your body is capable of, what you're capable of, the resilience that you have within you, the opportunities that you are hidden away, because this whole narrative of the quick fix culture is taking our agency away, taking our power away from us. And especially as women, this is like a really key thing in women's health, that our bodies are so misunderstood, our needs are so misunderstood, that, you know, women are getting prescribed the same medication for different ailments because they've got nothing else to give. They've got no other resource available to them. So we are trapped into these quick fixes that aren't fixing anything. And
yeah, or they get the same dosage or medication that a man body, like a testosterone based body, would get.
Yeah.
But it's not working for an estrogen dominant body.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just I think the piece that I need to bring forward here is about listening to your intuition, because these quick fixes have a tendency to numb it and keep it quiet, because society tells us that we have to keep going. We have to get better quickly because we need to get back to work. We need to be productive.
We need to function.
Yes, we need to be like serving everybody. We need to be, you know, we can't, like we talked before, all those like ebbs and flows and twists and turns of life. We get ill, we get tired, we get lack of resources. But we live in a society where that's not fully acknowledged, and we have this message that we need to keep going all the time. So we go for the quick fix because it helps us keep going. And this was definitely me, like when I was in employment and I was, you know, I had a really demanding job and I didn't want to be ill. Like I didn't want to be in pain or off work because it would just create more work for me. And so I would think, oh, I'll just keep taking the painkiller. I'll just keep going. I'll just keep going. I'll just keep numbing it, keep numbing it, keep numbing it, and keep going. And that just got me to complete burnout. So it also quieted down, like numbed my intuition, because I felt like every time I was going for that quick fix solution, I was like pushing the voice, the intuitive voice, further and further away into a little corner inside me. And it wasn't until I started, like, well, she started screaming. So I had to listen to her, that there was this realization that I am capable of this. You know, I had endometriosis. That was one of my diagnoses. And everybody was telling me I was incurable.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. It was a life sentence. Oh, no, yeah, you can't. It doesn't matter what you eat. It doesn't matter what you drink. It doesn't matter how much you exercise or don't exercise because it's just an incurable disease. We don't really know what causes it. And just take these tablets and we'll put you on the wait list for this surgery. And that's what's going to happen. And that took so much away from me.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I was so ill. I didn't have my resources. I didn't have my toolkit that I talked about before. So I let it go because it was so hard to think bigger than that. And then it wasn't until I started to listen to other people who had, you know, supported themselves, supported others with the condition or similar things that had happened. And I started to open up to the possibility that there is a quality of life out there for me. That my intuition started to say, yes, yes, this can happen, but it's not going to be easy. You know, it's not going to be, we're still going to have to go through all of this hot flush mess, whatever it was that was going on at the time. We're still going to have to experience all of these things until we know what works for us, for this body and this existence. But having that trust in the people around you was such a big piece for me. Yeah. And trusting yourself as well, like trusting myself through listening to my intuition was a game changer.
Maybe we should link the episode where you came on my personal podcast and talked about a fireside chat about endometriosis. If you're interested in Amy's story with her endometriosis, we should definitely link. And also, I would like to give a little self-advertisement for a free mini course I have available on my course platform, which is called Unlock the Power of Your Cycle. And a cycle, that means whether it's a menstrual cycle or whether you go according to the moon or whether you want to chart on a daily basis. You don't have to have a menstrual cycle. You don't have to have your organs, reproductive organs present. You can be a cis woman, a trans woman, a non-binary menstruator. It's about learning the language of your body on the cyclical rhythm so that, as Amy shares, you can start thinking about, okay, these are the phases where I have more energy. This is what my body is like when I'm in that phase. And what can I do now? What would support me now? And that's how you start, one step after another, tiny step after tiny step. Listen to your body, understand what your body is trying to tell you so that in the end, it doesn't have to get as far as you having to have a hysterectomy or other surgery or taking hormone replacement.
Yeah.
Because this is about this unique relationship. And that again ties into why it's not a quick fix. A relationship, if you are in a long-term committed relationship, for example, you will know that it takes effort. It's not just a breeze and you have to keep on working at it.
Yeah.
But it's worth it.
Yeah.
Similar to your body.
Yeah. And the other piece as well is that, and I think you touched on this earlier, Lisa, that although we're not promising quick fixes, it doesn't mean that you cannot get results quickly and have start to build your own toolkit and have things that can support you and have really deep and meaningful results for you. We're not saying that you have to work with somebody for X amount of time before you see any results. We're not saying that at all. But what we are saying is that for it to be a sustainable result that you can take beyond the container, that needs to happen within the space of a container. And the other piece I will say as well is that you may need more than one person to support you. And you know, I have a family member that came to me for some support around her health, and I knew her health history and I knew what she'd been through. And I said to her, yeah, let's do some work together, but I really think that you need to go and see an osteopath, because I know that there's stuff going on that I can't work with, that you'll get much quicker results if we work together. And I actually went with her to the appointment and spoke to the osteopath, and obviously with the individual's consent, and had a really lovely open conversation, the three of us, about how to create the care package that she needed. And to me, that gave me so much more faith in that particular professional, because they were open to working with another professional to support a client. And I think that's a really good indicator of, you know, a good person to have, who knows that their professional limits and remits. And it's the first time that I've ever done anything like that, and, you know, physically gone to an appointment with somebody, because geographically it worked out that we could do it. But it just made me really happy to know that this kind of relationship could work really well for certain clients. So I think that's an important piece as well, that find the right person for you, and make sure that the person that you're working with is making you feel heard, valued, seen, all of the things that you deserve to be feeling. Because having the right person in your corner supporting you is really important. It doesn't mean just because you find somebody that you're stuck with them, because, you know, you can outgrow each other, and you can just not be the right fit for each other, and that's fine. It's absolutely fine, because there's so many people out there that can help, that I would definitely recommend that you know, have that conversation with yourself. Is the person that I'm working with wanting me? Because I'm just thinking in particular about this individual that I'm helping. She's been seeing somebody for a long time, and she's not getting any sustainable results. And I had to have a little bit of a vagina truth bomb conversation with her of, so when are you actually going to do it on your own?
Yeah.
Like, when's the responsibility going to be on you?
That's the thing. Find someone who makes you feel like the powerful being that you actually are, and who believes in you so much, in your power, that they think you can make it without them. Because, like, the best testimonial I ever received was like, Lisa, I don't think I need you anymore. And well, yeah, that can sound a little disheartening, but that's not to say that there will not be another time in that client's life where she might need another month of support or something.
Yeah.
But that's where I want people to be.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Feeling satisfied and powerful in themselves.
Yeah, well done you for getting her to that place. Yeah.
And that is a relatively quick fix solution. Let's make it a relative.
Yeah,
Because that is possible. Relative
absolutely.
in terms of, I mean, when you've suffered from something like endometriosis for 10 years, because it usually takes 7 to 10 years until diagnosis, what is half a year compared to that? While you already get better during that half year, for example. Because as you say, and that's so important, it's again not this fairy tale lie of at the end my prince will come and sweep me up and I will be rescued and happy forever after. But it's all the little steps along the way that make you feel like, oh yeah, oh, things are shifting. Ooh, I feel better. Ooh, I can do something about it. Ooh, when I massage my body like this, then this particular good feeling happens or comfort happens. And that's what we are aiming for.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that was quite a long story about why we don't go for quick fix solutions.
Yeah.
But so necessary, because like, as you said and pointed out, it's about the societal issue at large, why we believe that we need a quick fix solution. And by the way, I look for that too. Like even now, even though I know how to support my own body, I still often think it lies outside of me, or I want a quick fix. And it's okay. It's not a bad thing per se. It's just needing to catch myself and go like, ooh, wait a moment, personal power, it's here. What can I do right now to support myself?
Yeah. Okay. So I think we'll land the plane there and just open up an invitation to all of you who are listening or watching or both to let us know what's come up for you during this discussion. What is it that you would like to share with us? Is there something that you've been battling a quick fix for? Because you might be listening to this thinking, but I've got X and I don't think there's a quick fix for that. Ask us the question, like open up conversation with us, because that's what we're here for. We're here to help and support you. So if there's anything that's popped up into your head that you're thinking, how would I go about addressing X, Y, or Z? Or if you've got your own personal story that you'd like to share with us about how you've, journeyed through a health and healing issue, we'd love to hear that as well. And yeah, just any questions that you have, anything that's coming up for you, connect with us. You can either drop us a comment below, or there's our email addresses as well, because I love receiving, I know you do as well, Lisa, I love receiving an email. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So until next time, we're sending you lots of health and happiness and lots of love. Bye.
Bye.